Breaking news for Yellowstone fans. The Dutton saga isn't over. Season 6 has been officially confirmed for 2025, with Beth and Rip taking center stage. Expect explosive drama, untamed romance, and a fresh chapter in the Wild West. This isn't just a spin-off, it's everything fans have been waiting for. Yellowstone Season 5 is ending. Blood, betrayal, and lots of secrets. The closing chapter of the Yellowstone universe is about to hit television very soon. Amid the excitement, fans are theorizing about the hard-hitting finale and the fate of the ranch. After all, there's some buzz about how few of our beloved characters would be making their comeback with a twist. Instead of Season 6 of Yellowstone, we'd be witnessing a focused story arc on one Dutton and her ride and die. But before we dish out the juicy details, let's circle back on the current Yellowstone saga. After all, the way this story ends is pivotal for the next chapter for the Duttons. And needless to say, there are countless theories about the future of the ranch, but only a few hold their weight. Yellowstone's 5th season might just deliver the ultimate ending for Casey Dutton, tying his journey to the fate of the iconic Dutton Ranch. With John Dutton now gone, Casey and Beth are left scrambling to hold on to the family's legacy. And let's be real, things aren't looking great. Financial issues like sky-high property taxes are dragging them down. Meanwhile, Jamie has jumped ship, teaming up with developers itching to turn the ranch into a casino complex. So it's up to Casey and Beth to figure out how to keep the ranch in the family before it all slips away. In episode 13, Casey drops a bombshell hinting at a secret plan to save the ranch. But here's the kicker. He doesn't tell Monica, and he sure doesn't spill the tea to the audience. All he says is, "I'll give the ranch away to save it." Naturally, fans are losing their minds trying to figure out what that even means. Who's he planning to hand it over to? While there are a few possibilities, one stands out big time. Casey's connection to the indigenous community is unlike anyone else in the Dutton family, thanks to his marriage to Monica. Remember, the two of them lived on the reservation for years, and Casey even fought for justice when an indigenous girl was attacked by outsiders. This history means he's built some trust with people like Chief Rainwater and Mo, despite the long-standing feud between the Duttons and the indigenous community over land boundaries. Now, let's talk stakes. Rainwater is locked in a battle to stop a pipeline that would bulldoze through the reservation and shrink indigenous land even further. Meanwhile, Casey is hunting for someone to temporarily take the ranch so he can buy it back on the cheap. The stars seem to align here. Rainwater even visited the ranch to offer his support after John's death, and Mo had Casey's back when they needed to warn off John's assassin. It's easy to see where this could go. Casey striking a deal with the indigenous community could protect both the ranch and the reservation from greedy developers. It's a bold move, but hey, this is Yellowstone. Bold is kind of their thing. And let's be real, whatever Casey is cooking sounds pretty exciting. So far, Yellowstone Season 5B was falling short in delivering some old-school plotting, other than the murder plots, of course. So we are eagerly waiting for what's about to happen next, not to mention, Casey's plan might also be the best course of action to take for both Yellowstone and the next chapter. Only way forward. Casey's plan could be the ultimate conclusion for both his character arc and the future of the Dutton Ranch. For years, Chief Rainwater has dreamed of reclaiming the land the ranch occupies, land that once belonged to his ancestors. At the same time, Rainwater's top priority has always been protecting the reservation from threats like the pipeline and other harmful developments. Given Casey's deep ties with the tribal leaders, he's in a unique position to strike a deal. Rainwater might agree to either sell the ranch back to Casey at a lower price or share control of it. Either scenario would secure the future of the Dutton Ranch while also addressing a critical issue facing the indigenous community. This resolution wouldn't just save the land, it would also bring Casey's personal journey full circle. For years, Casey has been torn between two worlds, never fully belonging to either. As a white man married to Monica, an indigenous woman, he's struggled to find his place in both the Dutton legacy and the community he married into. But through this partnership with Rainwater, Casey would finally bridge the gap between these two worlds. It's a move that could end Yellowstone on a hopeful note, with Casey finding his purpose and creating a lasting peace between the Duttons and their indigenous neighbors. Well, that's certainly one way to look at the ending of Yellowstone, but Taylor Sheridan never backs out from giving us turns and twists. To be fair, it would be too late to make things convoluted at the ranch, considering the show is about to end, allegedly. Yet we are certain that a spin-off is coming back to our TVs, so maybe Sheridan would leave certain questions deliberately unanswered. That would be a terrible move for sure, but as far as OG fans are concerned, the ending of the show is crystal clear. So whatever the spin-off spin-off has in store, it would be outside the Dutton saga. Let's take a look at yet another popular theory for how Yellowstone would end its ravishing storyline. The popular theory. As Yellowstone gears up for the finale of its 5th season, fans are buzzing with theories about what fate has in store for the iconic Dutton Ranch. Speculation is running wild, but some eagle-eyed viewers think the answer has been staring us in the face all along. An answer that might also solve one of the biggest mysteries in the Yellowstone universe. The theory takes us back to February 2022 during the final episode of 1883, the prequel series that chronicles the Dutton family's harrowing journey to Montana. In the episode, James Dutton and his family cross paths with Spotted Eagle, a Native American leader who delivers a haunting prophecy that seems destined to echo through the modern-day Yellowstone storyline. Here's the setup. James's daughter Elsa, who serves as the narrator for both 1883 and its sequel 1923, is dying after being shot with a tainted arrow. Desperate to keep his promise to stay wherever Elsa is buried, James listens as Spotted Eagle directs him to a lush valley where the family could settle. While he warns the winters will be brutal, the summers, Spotted Eagle says, will be plentiful enough for the Duttons to thrive. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. Spotted Eagle tells James, "Know this, in 7 generations, my people will rise up and take it back from you."
But you know this, that in 7 generations, my people will rise up and take it back from you.
To which James replies without hesitations, "In 7 generations, you can have it."
In 7 generations, you can have it.
This agreement wasn't just a passing remark, it was a promise, one that ties directly to the land where the Duttons built their home. For generations, they fought tooth and nail to protect their legacy. But how many generations have passed since James made that deal? That's where things get really interesting. If you count the Dutton lineage, the modern-day family featuring John, Casey, Beth, and Jamie is the 7th generation. Spotted Eagle's prophecy wasn't just a poetic warning, it was a ticking clock. And now, it seems like that clock has run out. With this in mind, could the prophecy explain Casey's cryptic plan to give the ranch away to save it? His unique connection to the indigenous community through Monica, as well as his collaboration with leaders like Rainwater and Mo, sets the stage for a potential handover that honors the agreement made by James Dutton nearly 2 centuries ago. If Casey embraces the prophecy, it might secure the ranch's future and heal the historical wounds between the Duttons and the indigenous people. So, if Sheridan is a man of his word, or shall we say the subtle clues, there's one character in the show who has become incredibly important, and if everything goes smoothly, we might see him in the upcoming 2025 spin-off too. The importance of Tate Dutton. The question of who will ultimately inherit the Dutton Ranch has taken center stage as Yellowstone hurtles towards its climactic finale. At the heart of the debate lies Tate, Casey Dutton's son, who could potentially be the 7th generation of Duttons tied to the ranch, depending on a key unresolved mystery surrounding John Dutton's lineage. This uncertainty about the family tree is not just a minor plot point, but a critical piece of the puzzle in determining how Spotted Eagle's prophecy from 1883 will play out. A large part of this speculation hinges on who John Dutton's great-grandfather is, a mystery that has lingered across the Yellowstone universe. Within the events of 1923, there are 2 primary candidates for this role. The first is Spencer Dutton, the youngest son of James Dutton, born after the tragic death of Elsa in 1883. Spencer's adventures, including his romance with Alex, a fiery British aristocrat, have been pivotal in 1923, and hints that Alex may be pregnant add weight to his claim as an ancestor of the modern Duttons. The second possibility is Jack Dutton, the grandson of James Dutton. Jack's storyline in 1923 involves his marriage to Elizabeth, who suffered a miscarriage during the 1st season. While Jack and Elizabeth's future children could cement their place in the Dutton lineage, the timeline remains murky. If Tate is a descendant of Spencer, this would make him the 6th generation of Duttons tied to the ranch, meaning the land's prophetic return to the indigenous people may bypass him and instead fall to a potential child of his own. Conversely, if Tate is descended from Jack, he would already represent the 7th generation, placing him directly at the center of Spotted Eagle's prophecy. But Tate's unique position extends beyond simple generational math. As the son of Monica, who is Native American, his inheritance of the ranch could serve as a symbolic fulfillment of the prophecy, prophecy. The land's return to Spotted Eagle's people might not come through outright reclamation, but through Tate's bloodline, uniting the Duttons' legacy with the indigenous heritage of the land. Alternatively, Casey, Monica, or Rainwater could orchestrate a more direct transfer of the land through a legal deed or similar means, making the handover both literal and symbolic. This dynamic casts a foreboding shadow over the generation above Tate, Casey, Beth, and Jamie, who might not survive to see the prophecy fulfilled. If Tate is to inherit the ranch by the series' conclusion, it suggests a tragic end for the current generation of Duttons. With no confirmation of a sixth season on the horizon, the stakes have never been higher. Adding to the intrigue, Yellowstone executive producer and director Christina Voros addressed Spotted Eagle's ominous words in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. "I think it's hard to say how much to read into it because there are so many threads dangled between these worlds that one could follow the path of," Voros noted. The context of Yellowstone within the historical saga that Taylor has been creating is sort of the centerpiece, but the storylines are extending from it in many different ways. Okay, we might just as well delude ourselves with the Tate-Dutton theory, but the threads just fit. But since this theory has already been out on the internet since 2022, Sheridan might have pulled some strings to render it irrelevant. As fans anxiously await the resolution, one thing is clear: the prophecy has woven a tangled web across generations, and the fate of the Dutton Ranch and its rightful heir may be the ultimate question Yellowstone seeks to answer. Meanwhile, fans are eagerly sharing their thoughts on X, formerly known as Twitter. Fan reactions. On X, fans shared their bold predictions. One user, at IamChris0408, said, "Rainwater ends up with the Yellowstone property. The 1883 Easter egg said they come back for the land after 7 generations. This could be that time." Another fan, at LarryHome63048, added, "Tate already owns it. It's going back to the tribe that gave it to the Duttons in 1883. 7 generations, just like Spotted Eagle said." The theory makes sense, especially since Tate is not only Casey's son, but also part of Monica's Native American lineage, tying him directly to the tribe's roots. While some fans focus on the prophecy, others are predicting pure chaos. At Mr_Sean's wrote, "Beth and Jamie take each other out in a shootout. Rip has a crazy Deliverance-style moment at the train station. And in the end, the Duttons give their land back to the Native Americans like James Dutton promised in 1883. Recent episodes have added fuel to these theories. Casey and Tate had a heartfelt chat about the boy's future, with Tate admitting he always thought he'd work on the ranch but wasn't sure about running it, especially after seeing what it did to his grandfather. Meanwhile, there are hints that Casey, Monica, and Tate might leave the ranch entirely, potentially giving it away. Some fans, like at BroGodForLife, think this is part of a bigger plan, tweeting, "Casey is protecting his family by stepping away from the ranch. It's a smart move." Of course, not everything's about prophecies and ranching. There's still the massive feud between Jamie and Beth. Things have gotten so bad that Beth told Jamie she'd kill him, and fans are on edge about how that could go down. Jamie, realizing Beth likely leaked damaging info about him and Sarah Atwood, seems ready to fight back, but whether it ends in murder or something even wilder, we'll have to wait and see. With just a few episodes left, Yellowstone has fans on the edge of their seats. Will Tate's Native American heritage tie him to Spotted Eagle's prophecy? Will the Duttons tear each other apart before the land gets passed on? However it shakes out, it looks like the ending of this wild saga will be just as intense as the journey that brought us here. For now, we are certain that we won't be saying goodbye to the current generations of Duttons anytime soon. Brace yourself for this exciting announcement. Yellowstone will make an official return after the conclusion of Season 5, and it will be a spin-off focused on 2 of our favorite characters. Yep, the Lovebirds have been carrying the show on their backs this season, and it turns out they will continue to do so in 2025 too. A Yellowstone spin-off is coming. As Yellowstone Season 5 barrels towards its conclusion, fans can breathe a sigh of relief knowing the Dutton story isn't over just yet. The franchise has officially confirmed a new spin-off centered on fan favorites Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler. While the fight to save the Yellowstone Ranch has been brutal, this next chapter promises to explore their lives beyond the chaos of Season 5. The journey has been anything but easy for Beth and her brother Casey Dutton.